day 67, but it might be a different day of my 365 days of remembering. Used to be realizations, and now I'm calling it remembering. Trina Wright here. What I want to talk about today is highest excitement, how we follow our highest excitement. Sometimes people call it follow your bliss, follow that breadcrumb trail, but in any moment, just it has become a very big spiritual practice, part of sort of the blending of empowerment and enlightenment to follow your highest excitement in any given moment. So if that's something that interests you, if you've been wondering, what does that mean? What does that look like? How does it play out in a day-to-day basis? And what if there's something that I feel like I want to do, like a big goal I have or a big manifestation that I'm working towards? How does that actually equate? Because I remember feeling all of these kinds of things when I was first approaching it. And it is, like everything, an ongoing process. So if you're interested in diving into that subject and understanding a little bit more of what it means to follow your highest excitement, then this is good for you today. So if you're interested and if you like my videos, then please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you can be notified when I release a new video, so we can play together, co-create together, and live as spiritually conscious, creative beings that we are. Remember who we really are and live our fullest life possible. So when we think about highest excitement or following our bliss, I think one of the things that happens that gets people stuck right away is we live in a place where we have separated and defined something that is like supposed to be fun, like something that would be like exciting or blissful, and contrasted it with this whole other bunch of stuff that doesn't seem quite so exciting or fun. So an easy way to look at that, or an easy example of that, is like when you think about work, we often think about work as being like that thing that I got to do that flows money or whatever. And often for many people, many people have figured out how to be passionate about their work and to really have it be an expression and extension of themselves. But for other people, it's just a way to get a paycheck. So immediately in our culture, we have done that division. Whereas the follow your bliss or follow your excitement thing is often the play stuff, the stuff that we do on a Saturday, the stuff we do on a weekend, the stuff that in my mind often amounts to little to nothing, but it's that sort of hanging out or, doing those things that create peak experiences in our life. So that's the model that we're all operating within. Then when you think about just adding in this notion of following your bliss or following your highest excitement or even following the breadcrumb trail, that's a little dicey because we're approaching it through a paradigm that doesn't serve us best. I was even thinking about like that idea of vegging. So, you work so hard at doing things you don't want to do so that you can come home and then do nothing, but the nothing is what you really want to do. And that's not everybody. For some people, they come home and they really put a lot of energy in or a lot of focus or, they meditate or they manifest or they make music or they do all kinds of things. So I'm certainly not, that's not that I'm saying that's the way it is for everyone. I'm just saying it's like that for a large slice of the population. The other thing is we have this notion around work. Like we often, even when it's not work that's for pay, it's just when there's efforting involved, then we call it work. And it often wouldn't equate with the same vibration as, say, excitement or bliss when we think of work. So the first thing to do when we want to follow our highest excitement is to, like so many other things, just kind of have a full-on reset, like just a full reset. But in that process of resetting, also to have some clarity and be with ourselves and say, what is my ideas around what I want to, how I spend my time. Like if you could write down how you spend your time right now, how much of it falls into those categories and how are you defining those categories so that we can redefine the categories and then look at this and look at your life and your experience and where you're putting your focus and your energy through a completely different lens, because that would be very helpful. So the first thing to do might be to dive into a conversation with yourself about like, what does work mean to you? Work, efforting, like how do you delineate that time? If someone just said follow your bliss, what is the immediate? It's like when someone says tune into your desire, and for so many people desire is the thing they don't have. It's the one thing they want that they don't already have, when pure desire is just like, what is the biggest calling that is coming through you that wants to be created or manifested in your world right now? It may be something you already have, but it needs to be more manifest, or it may be an extension of something else you don't have. But the defining feature is not a thing I want that I don't have, because then desire always stays in the not have place. So similar when we think about what is follow your bliss means. So tune into what that means for you. And how can you shift it so that what following your bliss or following your highest excitement actually means in any given moment is how can I be as clean and clear and have as much clarity as possible in this moment to attune to my sourceness, to my soul space, to my inner being, and then feel that energy, feel where the energy wants to come up and through me. What is going to take me to that place? And it could look like all different things. And if we can get that other mindset out of there about the judgment about it, then it could look like a whole bunch of different things, because there's a wide variety of examples. Like it's hard because we often think, well, if my highest excitement is just to goof off and do nothing, like let's say it was to watch this certain movie or just read a book all the time or come and play in the woods like I do, that equates to like, so what will I have to show for that? And that's another thing. Our culture is so amped up about what we have to show for things, when what we're really as spiritual conscious beings amped up about is how do I stay in attunement? How do I stay in alignment? So what's interesting is if we're not in alignment, then always, it seems to me, our highest excitement would be anything that's going to bring us back into alignment, which could look like a very distracting thing. It could look like a non-purposeful based thing, because play and joy and being in nature and maybe reading that book or maybe watching a funny cat video, like all those things will bring you back to that alignment. So when we're not in alignment, or when our alignment, our vibration could be raised so we can really access that full flow of what wants to be the exciting thing that comes to us, isn't there, then that's going to be our highest excitement. Our highest excitement in any given moment is going to be to take us to further alignment, especially as spiritual conscious beings who have said, my biggest intention in life is to expand, is to know myself, is to connect more deeply with the godness that lives within me. So that's why this is a little bit more of a convoluted thing. It's not like a step little checklist. So trusting that you can get yourself into that space, then when you ask, what is my highest excitement? What would it mean to follow my bliss? Then trust that the next thing that come, even if you can't see how, are going to take you there. But I have an add on to this. Let's say that you have a big vision. Like right now, I'm working in the space of creating my own business, of stepping into this teaching role that I want to do, coaching people, helping people to wake up to more of who they really are, to hold space for people to do that. Not from an expert point of view, but from like I've traveled the path and figured some things out. And also I think it's really, really important for us to have engagement with that, and to have like this spaciousness, and to have someone else looking at us in a way that we maybe can't see it, so that we can figure out how to move through more lack, how to move through more limits, how to manifest quicker and more efficiently, and how to be the super accelerated, spiritually conscious beings we want to be. So in stepping into that, then that's sort of my big arching intention or vision. So I have like what I would say the top, which is to be as spiritually realized, to be as blended in my enlightenment and my empowerment, and to be as empty as I can, to flow as much of the purity of source energy of God, of my inner being, into each moment. So that's my sort of highest aspect. And then the next level down is at this particular point, because it changes, one of the really big components is I want to have this business that brings forth all that I've come to know, all that I've come to experience, and really feels like it's attached to why I'm here, to my theme, so that I can express that out loud. It's a big calling for me. The next one is to be present with my kids, to be like a shining light in their life, to see them as source, and to call them forth to their highest expansion. So I have like these sort of layers of intentions that are kind of guiding my whole life. Then when I think about my highest excitement in the day, one, I want to make sure it's not coming from my person stuff. Though initially, if I'm out of alignment, then it might just be that movement to bring my person and my inner being back into alignment. So to bring all the aspects of myself into alignment. So knowing that that's true. So then there's, again, this call to awareness, because when I say I just want to follow my highest excitement, I have to be able to sit with my highest excitement as it arises and do a quick check. Like, so where is the highest excitement? Not in the sense that I can't believe that going out in nature could take me to a freer place, or, I think there's all those cool kinds of things where like we could get a nudge to just go do some strange thing, and then bang, we meet someone. And we don't want to cut those off. We want to give those space, but we also want to make sure that it's the right energy that we're activating within us. Because remember, every belief, every thought, every plausibility exists all the time within our own space. We can access anything we want in any moment in the field. So when we say, what is my highest excitement, it almost implies that we're asking for that from outside of ourselves, when it's just us generating it. Because my inner being has access to every single thing that I've ever thought, every single thing I've ever wanted, every desire I've ever had, complete access to my theme, to why I'm here, to what I want to do, to what would take my soul to the highest place. So I want to give it to her, but I also recognize that it's me that's doing it. It's not something outside of me. So that's where I want that excitement to come from, not from my person. So tune in, check in, make sure you're in that best space so that when the highest excitement comes, it comes in. Then have a couple seconds where you say, how does this align with my highest other visions that I have as my highest goals? Again, doing that carefully, doing it with a nuance, because there could be times, like I've said, where you get a nudge to read a book when you think your nudge should be make another video, or your nudge should be, dive into this platform that you need to learn about, or post something on social media, but instead you're just pulled to read this book. Then later you read the book and you're like, oh, it answered that question that I had about this thing, or it helped move energy. Because so much of what we want to do as spiritually conscious beings is in energetic work. It's like vibrational energetic work. And often, again, our culture really values output. It values like external moving things around and doesn't see the value that happens in the vibrational energetic work we're doing. So it's a very nuanced thing. And I don't want to make it sound like it's more complicated than it is, but it's also, there comes to be a knowing. So in the beginning, like everything, like when you're first stepping into aligning more and being more in alignment and finding the fine-tuned dance with that of being with your inner being, there's a little bit more efforting. When you first tune into awareness and you start realizing that you rest in awareness, in the beginning, it's like, oh, I think I lost it. Oh, it's back. Oh, I think I lost it. Even though you couldn't, there's that feeling because it's not practiced. And so with the same thing, as we begin to practice being in attunement and responding to the nudges, responding to the calls, responding to that call, like what is the highest, most exciting thing in any given moment, then follow it. And then also, it's okay to pay a little bit of attention, like to take note of like, oh yeah, that thing led to that thing, which led to that thing. Because remember, your inner being isn't always linear. So what you're being called to may not look perfect and may not look linear and may not make sense. And sometimes I've noticed it's years later, like things, this course I jumped into, I pre-paved this woman that I'm doing the course with like 2 years ago to now be jumping into this higher level course with her. So sometimes we are working and pre-paving things way out into the future and we just don't know. And so we need to be able to allow that energy to flow. But I have noticed that if people don't pay any attention to sort of our overarching excitement, then a lot of the little minutia that is part of that excitement can start to feel less exciting, and then we just won't do it. And that's part of the reason why so many people don't shift things. It's like I have an overarching goal to feel free in my body, to feel loose in my body, to feel flexible and healthy and vital in my body. But then my highest excitement right now is to eat chocolate almonds. So do those things match up? And if they're not matching up, then sometimes our highest excitement, sure, maybe eating the chocolate almonds brings you more fully into alignment to then go running or go exercise or frame your body differently. I don't know. But if it doesn't seem like that's true, that's the nuance. That's the self-awareness that we need to have so that we're constantly just coming back to say, so which one is it? And it's not always a mind thing. It's not something that you can just get in your mind and analyze. That's not what I'm encouraging. I'm more encouraging that it will be a felt thing, that you'll just sort of feel it, like you'll just know intuitively. Maybe it's a feeling in your body. Maybe it's a feeling in your sort of energetic field. Maybe it's goosebumps. Maybe there's just something that says, yes, like I know this is my highest excitement. And I've had that times when I feel like I want to post something, or I want to talk to someone, or I want to flow something, or I wanted to jump into this program. There's a point where it's just like a felt thing. It's just a felt thing, and just trust with it and just be gentle with yourself and trust that as you do this more and more, it's going to get easier and easier. So I hope that you got some takeaways from this. If you have any comments or questions, or you want to dive into it a little bit deeper, if you want to share, the one question I'd ask is, so how do you follow your excitement? What does that look for you? And if you're going to say one thing that helps you know that the excitement is coming from that highest place within your being, what is that one thing? Because I think that would be really cool for us to all share that and help each other out in doing this, because it is a very new way to being. Kids tend to follow their highest excitement, which in our culture often doesn't lead to looking like they produce very much, but they still seem to be following their highest excitement. So if you enjoyed this video, if there was any takeaways that you got from it, again, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell if you want to hear when I release a new video. And have a great day. Take care. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.